From our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Louise Huber begins now.
The state government's finances are worse than expected, with the budget deficit blowing out to double what it was a year ago. Labor says the Liberals need to cut back on outsourcing work, but a leading economist believes it's going to take more than that to fix the bank balance.
The results are in for the state budget's first report card, and it's red across the board. Treasury's September quarterly report showing the deficit is sitting at $620 million, double what it was 12 months ago. But the Premier isn't fazed.
We're on a pathway to surplus, and we've got very good budget management, but we have invested in our community.
Major expenses are $246.5 million more than expected, according to the new figures. The opposition says it's a sign of worse to come for Tasmanians.
And it means that there will be less funding available for other essential services.
Jeremy Rockcliffe pointing to key health projects such as upgrades to Hobart's and Launceston's major hospitals among the highest spends, which he says are vital amid growing demand for medical services.
We're working very hard to reduce or alleviate that demand by investing more in primary health care, for example. We've cut a lot of health red tape.
Employee expenses were also nearly $50 million more than expected, while the Health Department blew its budget by more than $30 million. The Shadow Treasurer says the government should focus on budget repair, starting with winding back contract workers.
We're seeing outsourced nursing and a whole range of other things blowing the budget.
But leading economist Saul Eslake says more drastic measures are needed, renewing calls for spending cuts.
Either operating spending or infrastructure spending by enough to put the budget on a credible path back to cash surplus.
Anthony Dodd, 7 Tasmania News.
After months of speculation, Labor has revealed its wildcard candidate to go up against Liberal Bridget Archer at next year's federal election. A Launceston teacher putting her hand up for the chance to steal the Bass electorate before the incumbent can make it to 3 terms in office.
Perched above what the Prime Minister's declaring a must-win seat, the key to staying in power.
It's absolutely winnable. It's the one of the most marginal seats in the country.
Labor's answer to turning Bass back to red? Newly minted candidate Jess Teasdale, the Launceston teacher looking to expand her impact beyond the classroom.
I'm now looking to create an impact on a national scale.
To flip an electorate famous for turfing MPs after a single term, she'll need to outpoll Bridget Archer, the Liberal MP running for a 3rd stint in office, a feat not achieved since Warwick Smith in the 90s.
Bridget Archer's, I think, a good person. I think she's a good person, but she's a member of a bad party.
But as you'd expect, and for very good reason, I'll be backing Bridget in Bass.
While the Prime Minister's basking in a sea of red today, his green credentials are coming under fire. Accused of playing the Christmas Grinch to West Coast salmon farmers, leaving without guaranteeing a decision on Macquarie Harbour before voters head back to the polls.
It's called the law. I don't make a mistake by complying with the law. I support jobs.
Said all the right words, now we want to see action, and how those jobs are absolutely and utterly permanently secured.
Victoria Easto, 7 Tasmania News.
While humans are soaking up the Christmas season, it was our furry friends who had their turn to celebrate. The 10th annual Doggy Christmas Party filled with puppy love, while also raising money to provide care for abandoned and displaced animals.
Pino and Pooch is a perfect way to spend a Sunday afternoon. 4-legged friends enjoying their dogmas at Wobbly Boots Vineyard.
The dogs just have a blast here. It's so different. It's nothing like a dog park. We're all relaxing, we're all having something to eat, and the dogs just chill out, run around.
Tails wagging and tongues out, dogs of all sizes, ages and personalities soaking up the festive cheer.
Often on Christmas Day, people are so busy with their own things. It's not always the best day of the year for their dogs, but this is purely for the pooches.
A chance for some of the pups to mingle while others lapped up time with their owners.
Seeing all the dogs play, get on, beautiful wine, it's a perfect day for it.
Maxie has a bit of anxiety, so we're working on it, and he's doing well today.
Some of the poochers dressing to impress, looking to take out the top gong in the fashion stakes.
Wander around and I'll give on-the-spot prizes for the best-looking dog or the best-dressed dog.
The event is aiming to bark up vital funds for the Small Paws Animal Rescue, helping them look after unwanted pets.
One of our major fundraisers for the year. We have over 200 rescue animals in our care.
This year's event is hoping to bring a little more joy to Rescue Dog Sydney.
She is currently awaiting a $10,000 operation, so the money raised from today is vital to support her.
A day filled with puppy love.
It's awesome. We'll get her home and she'll have a good sleep too.
Rebecca Gadaneris at 7, Tasmania News.
The first primary school to be built in Tasmania for more than a decade is finally ready to welcome students. It's a project 6 years in the making, brought to life by the hard work and passion of the local community.
A primary school for Lagana was one of many election promises made in 2018, and finally, it's a reality. With enrolments already at half its capacity, it won't be long until each classroom is full.
I'm not even hoping, I'm sure we're going to achieve that 350 in a couple of years.
It's the first public primary school to be built in more than a decade, which Principal O'Donoghue says has the advantage of being able to get the best evidence-based tools. The government hoping it'll become at the heart of one of the region's fastest growing communities.
This school has been built for all children, regardless of ability, regardless of disability.
From little things, big things grow. Once a dairy paddock, now the home for eager young learners, even if the prospect of life in a new uniform is a tad overwhelming.
Contemporary school here today that has been created effectively by the ideas and the aspiration of the local Lagana community.
The countdown to the first school bell well and truly underway.
Making sure that we've got day one sorted and the first couple of weeks sorted, so teachers know what to expect and then students know what to expect.
Zeke Gaffney, 7 Tasmania News.
Some of Tasmania's most talented young tennis players are competing for bragging rights over their friends in the Junior Masters State Finals. As the tournament draws to a close, excitement is already building among young fans for next month's Hobart International.
The next generation of Tasmanian tennis stars hitting the courts for the Junior State Masters Finals.
It's a great tournament, a great time to get some good games in.
I just really like the match play, and I just really enjoy playing with friends, and yeah, I love competing as well.
Under 10s to under 16s boys and girls battling it out under the summer sun. While competing to win, the aim of the games here are all about fun.
It really starts to create what the summer of tennis is all about.
With more kids picking up a racket outside the classroom, tournament organisers say the future of the sport is looking bright.
We have a great number of kids sampling our sport in the schools environment, with over 30,000 kids being seen annually.
And with a lineup of some of the biggest names in women's tennis set to touch down for the Hobart International next month, there's plenty of excitement around for one of the country's biggest summer sports.
The site's really starting to come alive now, so it's very exciting. We'll have players arriving very shortly.
They're all like amazing players and great attitude off the court, so yeah, it'll be a great experience.
Anthony Dodd, 7 Tasmania News.
Locals and visitors can now ditch cash to pay for entry into several Tasmanian national parks and camping grounds. 20 new pay and display machines have been rolled out across some of the state's most visited sites, including the Tasman Peninsula, Bruny Island and Cradle Mountain. It's aiming to be more convenient and flexible for people making impromptu visits to our national parks. Just hours after dropping Craig Sword, the Jack Jumpers have named his replacement. American import Ian Hummer is joining the squad for the rest of the season, effective immediately. The 6'7" forward's most recently been playing in Japan's B1 League, averaging 7.5 points and 5 rebounds a game. And race fans turned out in droves to Hobart Speedway for the annual Christmas show, featuring a special visit from the man in red. The V8 Super Sedan's also proving a draw card, putting on some exciting heat race action. The busy summer of Speedway continues on Boxing Day at Carrick.
Good evening. 20 the top in Hobart today, Launceston 24, 18 at Devonport and Burnie 19 degrees. 27 in Ouse, Friendly Beaches and Grove 23, King Island and St Helens both 22, 21 at Strawn and also on Maria Island, Flinders Island, Smithton and Lyawini 20 and 19 recorded at Lowhead. Fine and sunny conditions were observed across the state. A little high cloud moved over from the west this afternoon. Extensive convective cloud can be seen over the majority of the country, with the exception of Tasmania, Victoria, Central Australia and the west coast of WA. Tomorrow a high moves over from the Tasman Sea, bringing with it hot air from Central Australia to the southeastern states. East to northeasterly winds reaching upward of 35 knots about the northwest. Winds will tend north to northeasterly, increasing up to 35 knots about the east and southeast. Southwesterly swells at 1.5 metres. A severe weather warning has been issued for damaging winds for parts of the west and northwest coast tomorrow. We also have a strong wind warning for coastal waters between east of Flinders Island to southeast Cape and also for the central west coast. It might be warming up tomorrow, but it will be soggy across the state too. Showers for Hobart and Ouse 33, increasing showers for Dover with 31. Late showers in Launceston 30 degrees, much the same in Devonport 23, 27 with possible late showers in Scottsdale. No reprieve for the west either. A couple of showers for Burnie 22, a windy one in Strawn 31. Similar conditions in Stanley with 23 there. Possible showers in the east, 23 the maximum in St Helens, 28 the top at Swansea and 31 for Ross. Forecast for Tuesday, showers contracting to the west and south throughout the evening. Showers continue in the west and far south on Wednesday, but should clear in the afternoon. And on Thursday, the west will wake to a foggy start, but relatively settled conditions are expected elsewhere. Remaining warm in Adelaide tomorrow, 38, a little cooler in Perth, partly cloudy there with 25. Showers in Brisbane, 28, and a morning drizzle in Sydney with 29 degrees.
Thank you for that, Kyle. That's all your news for now. Thank you for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Good night.